Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Historical Markers. Today we are in Perry County, Missouri, and we have been enjoying the trip that we've been on to see all of these counties in Missouri, and I'm excited to see what Perry County has to offer. So stay tuned, and I'll catch back up with you at the end. We are in Perryville, Missouri, on the grounds of the Perry County Courthouse. And this is a marker for Captain Raymond Littge, born in Altenburg, April 18th, 1923, died for his country, May 20th, 1949, a member of the 352 2nd Fighter Group, credited with destroying 23 and a half enemy planes, Missouri's top-ranking fighter pilot of World War II. It earned him the Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, Distinguished Flying Cross, along with the Air Medal with 15 oak leaf clusters. And we are in Perryville, Missouri, on the grounds of the Perry County Courthouse. This marker is denoting the El Camino Real. We've covered these in the past in different places, and it was a road that went from New Madrid, Cape Girardeau, to St. Genevieve and St. Louis. And so it came right through here. And that it was around, I guess this was installed in 1917, but there's a lot of good things to look up about the El Camino Real if you ever want more information. We are in Perryville, Missouri, on the grounds of the Perryville Courthouse, and this is a sundial that they have, and it's one. So it's daylight savings time. There we go. There's no way to change that. But on each side of the sundial, it talks about, this one is how solar time is made. You could pause and read yourself, please. This is talking about the eclipse that we had in 2017, and it tells you all about the eclipse here in Perry County. Again, pause and read if you would like. This side is talking about the total solar eclipse that we had in 2024, and gives all kinds of information about Perry County in that eclipse. Please feel free to pause and read. And then this tells about the sundial itself, where it came from, who made it, and all that information. So this is pretty cool to have a sundial here. We are in Perryville, Missouri, on the grounds of the Perryville Courthouse, and they've got a memorial here in honor of those who served in the military forces of the United States of America in war, and in loving memory of those who gave their lives in that service. And it has the various branches and the wars up there: World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and Korea, with the names of those in the county who were killed. Okay, we are in Perryville, Missouri, on the grounds of the Perry County Courthouse, and this monument is in memory of Perry County's Union soldiers of the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, erected by Sons of Veterans and Auxiliary, 1923. We are in Perryville, Missouri right now. We're here for this mural on the end of this building. It's a Lewis and Clark Expedition mural. It has Sacagaway on it. It shows the path that they took in their exploration from 1803 to 1806. We are in Altenburg in Perry County, Missouri, and we're going to read about the history of this community. Some 700 Saxon Lutherans settled 1839 in Perry County and formed the parishes of Altenburg, Whittenberg, and Dresden, Seelitz, Frona, and one settlement, Johannesburg, in Cape Girardeau County. The community of Pastorf, or Uniontown, was organized in 1840. The Saxons came to Missouri mainly for the purpose of freeing themselves from the Saxon State Church. Under their pastor, Martin Stephen, they formed an immigration society with an 88 $100,000 communal fund. 665 members sailed from Bremen, 1838, in 5 chartered ships for St. Louis by way of New Orleans. One of the ships was lost at sea. Other members joined the group in Missouri, and a number of them remained in St. Louis and founded a parish there. The immigrants bought 4,475 acres of Perry County land with $9,234 from the communal fund. Colony survived the physical hardships of settlement and the spiritual blow of finding Martin Stephen, their pastor, a false leader. After his exile from the colony, the group was led by the great pastor C.F.W. Walther. We're going to go around to the other side. Of the original settlements made by the Saxons in Perry County, Altenburg, Frona, Whittenberg, and Uniontown survive. From the Saxon colonists, probably most distinct of German cultural groups to settle in the U.S., have come the Missouri Synod, one of the largest Lutheran bodies in the nation, and outstanding Concordia Seminary. The first evangelical Lutheran seminary west of the Mississippi River, Concordia, was founded in 1839 near Altenburg in the Dresden community. The school building, called the Log Cabin College, was moved to Altenburg across from the impressive Trinity Lutheran Church, 1912, and is kept as a memorial museum. The seminary was removed to St. Louis in 1849. A replica of the first building is on the campus there. Some 2 miles below Wittenberg, early river landing of the colonists, is Grand Tower Island, a mass of limestone rising 85 feet out of the Mississippi River. The island is also known as Capt and Rock of the Cross for there. December 12, 1698, Catholic missionary priest de Montigny, Davion, and St. Cosme planted a cross. And I'm sorry if I butchered all of those names. All right, we are here in Altenburg, outside the Lutheran Heritage Center and Museum. And this marker has several plaques on it for very important, of course, for people to the Lutherans. This one is Dr. Martin Luther himself, former and educator, born November 10th at 1483, Eisleben, Germany, died February 18th, 1546 in Eisleben, Germany. Luther was called as professor to the University of Wittenberg and was ordained a priest in 1507. On October 31st, 1517, Luther posted an announcement of his famous 95 Theses to the door of the castle church in Wittenberg. He authored the large and small catechisms, and the first congregational hymn book. Luther strongly advocated Christian education for boys and girls. In 1534, he completed the task of translating the entire Bible into German language. Luther's watchword of the Reformation was the Scriptures alone, by grace alone, through faith alone. Luther's famous words, spoken before the Diet at Worms, excuse me if these are not pronounced right, on April 18, 1521, were, I cannot and will not recant. Here I stand. I cannot do otherwise. God help me. Amen. Okay, this marker is for Pastor Gotthold Heinrich Loeber, founders of Trinity Lutheran Church, Altenburg, Missouri, 1839. Born January 5th, 1797. Kalle, Saxony, Germany, died August 19th, 1849, Altenburg, Missouri. Loeber became one of the leading pastors in the Perry County settlements. Altenburg was named by Loeber after Altenburg in Saxony, Germany. Loeber built his own parsonage, which also served as Trinity's place of worship, for 6 years. For a period of time, he was the only professor in the Log College Seminary in Perry County, founded in 1839. After other pastors in the area resigned or accepted calls, Loeber, for a time, ministered to all Lutherans within the Brazow Township. Loeber was one of the founders of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, organized in Chicago, Illinois in 1847, where he delivered the opening sermon. Walther's eulogy of Loeber gave the following tribute at the next convention of the Synod. Loeber was the crown of our Synod, its father in Christ, its lively example of an experienced and upright servant of the Church, its ardent peacemaker. Says Dr. Karl Ferdinand Wilhelm Walther, first president of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, 1847 to 1850, 1864 to 1878, born October 25th, 1811, Langensdorf, don't come for me, Saxony, German. Died May 7th, 1887 in St. Louis, Missouri. After having arrived with the Saxon immigrants in Perry County in 1839, Walther served as pastor of the newly founded congregations of Dresden and Johannesburg. He assumed leadership in the Saxon settlements following the dismissal of Bishop Martin Stephen. Walther was co-founder of the first Lutheran seminary west of the Mississippi, Log College, 1839. Walther took the affirmative and winning stand in the famous Altenburg debate in 1841 when things were near spiritual disaster in Perry County. He served as president of Concordia Seminary from 1847 to 1887. He also started Der Lutheran in 1844. The Walther League, organized in Buffalo, New York, May 23, 1893, was named in his honor. It served as Synod's youth organization until 1968. Walther has been called the Luther of America and its greatest Christian theologian of the 19th century. We are in Altenburg, and this original building, right now they're doing some restoration, getting ready for preparing it. It's the first college building of the Luth Missionary Synod, built by the Saxon immigrants, AD 1839, moved to present site AD 1912, shelter erected AD 1915. So, because they've covered the entire building with the shelter up here, that's what they're working on right now. And I assume that that's in German. Not going to go there. Okay, we are still here on the grounds of the Lutheran Heritage Center and Museum. We're here for there's a plaque up here on this church, but I wanted to give you a good look at it. This is Trinity Lutheran Church. We're going to go over here to this plaque on the side of it. It says, Trinity Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod, Altenburg, Missouri, founded by the Saxon immigrants from Germany in the year 1839. This marker was placed by Trinity Young People's Society on the 100th anniversary of continuous organized youth work in this congregation. It's July 20th, 1951. We are in rural Perry County at Tower Rock, and of course the river is much too high right now to walk to the rock, but it can be done on those times when the water level is low enough. Been there, have done that. I probably wouldn't do it again, but there we go. Okay, this is the Grand Tower that the Journey of Lewis and Clark mentioned. He says in his diary, there is a most beautiful and commanding view from the summit of the Sugarloaf Point. It commands the top of the Grand Tower about 60 feet and overlooks the low surrounding country. The view of the river above is particularly beautiful, and that's what Meriwether Lewis wrote about. And we're right here, of course, on the Mississippi River. We're on the Missouri side instead of the Illinois side. And it says, Tower Rock is a grand vision. As Lewis and Clark passed through this area 200 years ago, Lewis found the rock so commanding that he wrote about it at length in his journal. Climbing to the top of a nearby summit, Lewis was impressed with the bold hills. Many other travelers and explorers before him had noted the landmark, including Jacques Marquette in 1673. Tower Rock was and is more than just an impressive monument in the Mississippi River. The island was legendary to navigators. When the river flooded, a dangerous whirlpool would form as the violent current of the second channel forced its way between the rock and the base of the nearby formation. Those who passed for the first time would celebrate grandly or be dunked in the river. Lewis and Clark were only 23 days into their long journey, but they were already sensing the beautiful landscapes yet to come. Take a moment to absorb the rugged countryside and view Tower Rock just as Lewis, Marquette, and other explorers have. It says it's a small limestone island carved by the waters of the Mississippi. Tower Rock is topped with a forest of oak, hickory, beech, and pine. During periods of low water, the rock is approachable by land. Tower Rock became a rite of passage for boatmen of the Mississippi, much as crossing the equator was for deep water sailors. So, in low water, you can walk out there, and I've done it, and it's really neat. But as the sign said, the currents around this rock, you can see when you look out there that it's a swirling current. So boaters must be really, really careful when navigating the waters. But if you get a chance to come out here when there is very low water, you can walk out there and say that you have been in the middle of the Mississippi River, idle hand. And it's also kind of cool to look down this way and see the big natural gas pipeline that crosses the river this way. That's just a feat of engineering, the way that they've done that. All right, we are in rural Perry County, Missouri, right next to the Mississippi River. And we're here for this little marker. This is the site of Second House of Worship of St. Paul's Lutheran Church, which is in the Missouri Synod, dedicated to the glory of God on Advent Sunday, 1920. Whittenberg, Missouri, named after Wittenberg in Germany, was one of 7 settlements of the Saxon immigration to East Perry County in 1839. St. Paul's congregation was organized in 1877 as a school congregation of Trinity Church, Altenburg. In 1903, St. Paul's congregation was organized as an independent congregation. The congregation dissolved and its beautiful brick church edifice was razed in 1987 due to the declining membership and frequent flooding of the Mississippi River. Subsequently, the members joined sister congregations. This marker, erected by the Perry County Lutheran Historical Society of Altenburg, Missouri, was dedicated November 27, 1994. The cornerstone and headstone of the above-mentioned edifice were salvaged and mortared into this marker, which is theirs. There they are. And this will probably frequently be underwater when the Mississippi does flood. But somebody's kept up the mowing and weed trimming so it can be gotten back here. But it's kind of off in the middle of nowhere. But there you go. All right, we are on the Missouri side of the Mississippi River, which you can't see from here, but right at the Chester Bridge to Illinois. And this marker here is the Lewis and Clark expedition across Missouri. Now, it's kind of in bad shape, this marker is. But it does have an entry here and by William Clark, set out this morning of 8 o'clock from the lower point of Horse Island, which island is situated opposite the mouth of the Kaskaskia River. And he wrote that November 28th, 1803. And then there's a map that was drawn by George Henri Victor Collaes, I guess, and showing is before the American Army established Fort Kaskaskia. And this talks about Lewis and Clark being at Fort Kaskaskia. There are some remains of this fort, and their primary reason for stopping there was to select suitable men for the expedition. So you can pause and zoom in on that and read, and it tells you all about the different men and provisions that they got. I'm going to move up here, and it talks about where they were camped at on Horse Island, so you can go in and zoom in and read that. Pause. It talks about how the Mississippi River shifted its course eastward, and the original village of Kaskaskia was gone. That it took the Mississippi River took it away. So, but they're talking about what they did there, and I'm going to move over, and this is the continuation of that. If you want to pause, there is some damage to this marker, so that you can pause and read that. We're actually standing on the top of the levee on the Missouri side. This is where this is, but it does get a lot of, I guess, sun and water here. But it talks about what all they did, what the boats, were loaded with. And then this is a map that of the Illinois country produced in 1778 by British cartographer Thomas Hutchins. So you can see the probable route where Cahokia was, and then all the way down here to Fort Kaskaskia. It's no longer in color. The map isn't. It's faded so much. Same with the map here that shows where we're at. I mean, I can show you we're right here, and we're going to cross the bridge over into Chester, Illinois to go home. But that's where we're at. Well, that was Perry County, Missouri. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you like our content, could you please, do all the things, like, share, follow, and send me comments. If there's places that you think we need to go, counties that we need to go, within the, Southern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, Western Kentucky areas, and maybe a little further, because we're getting to the point where we're traveling some distance, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to go there. But thank you for watching this episode of Historical Markers.